Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Framed Podcast. This is episode 21 now, and hopefully by the end of this episode, everyone listening is going to be changed for good. Sorry, I had to do it. This week, we're of course going through Wicked for Good, when we have once again another special guest. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, my name is WatchedbyGrace. I do film and TV content online, sometimes theatre, sometimes books. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram.
It's great to have you on. I know there's some stuff that we're going to talk about today that you're very excited about, that we get through in the news, and also then we've got a lot of thoughts on Wicked to share, I think. But yeah, we're going to kick off with our news as normal, go through some games, and then towards the end of the episode, we're going to discuss everything to do with Wicked. But we're going to kick straight off with our news, with the first thing being Wicked related, which is that there are now discussions of a third Wicked movie. So what do you think?
Doing what?
I think it might be like the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, Scarecrow kind of thing.
I had that thought that they were going to do it, but then I thought it would kind of be a bit of a kick to the legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Do you not feel like there's a lot of storylines in For Good that just don't get finished off?
100%.
Not enough that they need another movie, but I think Bok needs a conclusion, and I think The Wizard needs a proper conclusion.
Well, the conclusion is the Wizard of Oz, right?
Well, technically no, because that happens. Well, that's all
at the same time, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the Wizard of Oz, they all get given what they ask for, right? Cowardly Lion gets his courage back, the Tin Man gets his heart back, and the Scarecrow gets his mind back. But beyond that, then what? Is that what you're referring to as what could be next?
Yeah, just like, where does he go? Obviously, he has the information that it was his daughter. So how does he deal with that?
He just leaves. Just straight up leaves.
That was a weird thing for them to drop on us and then just like do nothing with it. But yeah. It's another opportunity to make another Wicked movie, and it's really popular, so I'm sure they will take the opportunity.
We're discussing spoilers, by the way. Probably should have said that before.
It's been out for like 20 years. At this point, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's completely fair.
I assume the wizard goes back to normal place, right? Because I assume you've seen Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah. It's a
the
film.
James Franco one, yeah? No?
It's a film.
It's awful, is what it is. But the original plot is pretty much he's like a failed magician in the real world, and that makes sense. And then he ends up like going in a hot air balloon and winds up in Oz. So he takes his fake magic into the world of Oz and then becomes the wizard, and that's the wizard you know. So my assumption is he takes the same hot air balloon and just goes home. Now knowing he killed his own daughter.
Yeah, I'm not great on the Wicked lore, so.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably the three wrong people to be discussing this, but you know, they'll do something because it's a classic, massive IP that's made them tons of money. They're going to milk it.
Yeah, I sadly think you're right.
And I also think, as much as it will hurt the legacy, I do think we're just going to get a Wizard of Oz remake.
I'm not upset with that, but I'm not sold by it.
Any movie made from that universe is going to be mega popular, so for them is always going to be a success.
Yeah.
It's money.
Yeah.
Because even whatever becomes the bad one, people are still going to flock to see it because it's the borrowed trust of the previous.
And if there's any time to make it, it is now. Like, it's been like...
Yeah.
Came out in like the 40s, and you've just come straight off the back of Wicked. If you're going to do The Wizard of Oz again, it is now.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, the actors starring in the new one would be different. Because a lot of the Wicked popularity is also Cynthia and Ariana, and they're kind of like the PR around them.
Even though Wicked itself is
still very big.
Yeah, no.
Because if you've got to think about how much they'd be in The Wizard of Oz, it's not much. Glinda and Elphaba aren't in it a lot. They're in it, but not much.
Yeah.
But it would be Jonathan Bailey playing a big role, Ethan Slater playing a big role, and then Coleman Domingo playing a big role for a lot of the film.
Yeah.
It's if they are ready for that.
I think Ariana and Cynthia are ready for anything to do with Wicked, but I mean, it would be a huge paycheck just for a limited amount of screen time. So I'm not sure if they'd be willing to do that.
I think they love the franchise so much that you're right, they'd do anything.
Yeah.
I think we'll see where it all goes.
Yeah.
To jump to something that I know someone is definitely a lot more excited for, is Stranger Things. Yeah. And the Duffer Brothers have said that this season is going to feature the most violent death that Stranger Things has ever seen. What do we think, and who do you think?
See, the thing is, Stranger Things has never been a show about, like, killing off a lot of the main characters, because I feel like it's just not that type of show where they're just killing people for shock. But because it's the last season, they might be willing to go into that. I think it's probably going to be Steve, but that will also come with a lot of backlash. So I'm not sure if they're ready to do that.
I feel like whoever they kill comes with backlash.
That's true, but like Steve is like very beloved.
He's like the crescendo of the fan base. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So I think if they're going for like, oh my gosh, we're gonna kill someone no one expects, I think Steve.
Ben, am I right in saying you still haven't watched it?
I watched season 1 when it came out.
Oh my gosh.
My girlfriend's rewatching it at the moment, and I keep walking in and like just walking into random episodes, and I'm like, what? Like, seeing as though I remember where it was left off, and she's watched it a few times now. I walk in onto like a random episode, and I'm like, this doesn't look anything like the same show I watched, and then I just walk out again because there's no point in me trying to understand it at this point unless I just sit down myself. So I feel like the hype for this series is huge, and I'm just like awkwardly sitting on the sideline just watching it because I don't get any of it.
Yeah, season 1 and 2 are very different to season 3 and 4. Very different.
Yeah, I can feel it. Even as a third party, I can see that. But if you want me to answer that question, who could die? Great question. I know about 5 people in it. I think any of the main kids, just any of them. I think no one would be a fan of them going. I think any of them will be a backlash.
What about you, Charlie?
I think if you kill off Dustin, I think you annoy a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
If you kill off Will, I don't think people are going to necessarily not care, but where he's been the sort of, I don't want to say the chosen one, because that's really like cringe, but where he was the one that was taken in the first season, he is sort of an easy target and expected. Which I think if you do Dustin, I don't think Mike will have the same impact, but I think Mike's impact on 11 in the show.
Oh, yeah.
That would be huge. So I think those 2 for me out of the kids.
I have a 4. I just don't think they can kill off Will, just because that completely undermines season 1. And Joyce, like, I'm going to bring him home, and just that whole fight to bring her son home. I feel like if you then kill him anyways, I just feel like season 1 feels completely undermined. Yeah, so I feel like Will can't die.
No, I completely agree with that. I think it's basically exactly what you said.
Yeah,
it's like all that fight. I got my kid back for him to die.
Yeah. I've got a clue.
You got nothing to say on this, have you?
No, I genuinely don't.
Right, to jump over to something not so like news related, but a very big important thing is that Chadwick Boseman has been honoured with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Ryan Coogler spoke very emotionally on it. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips, but yeah, I was quite moved watching a lot of it and just hearing his sort of stories about when he was alive, but also how it was affected him afterwards as well. It's great to see that he's getting that honour, and I think they placed it outside the theatre where Black Panther premiered, which I think is really cool.
I feel like it took too long. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great. Was there a specific reason why it was now? Like they did it? Is there I actually don't know.
I think it was 5 years in August.
Right. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And but they usually announced the next set like towards the end of summer.
Okay. So I was going to say, like, it's so deserved. I just didn't understand, like, why now? If that makes sense. Because as soon as, before he had even died, he was like a legend already, if that makes sense. 100%. Like, he probably was worthy of one when he was still alive, if that makes sense. So, yeah, definitely worthy of one. I'm just curious as to why it was now. But
yeah,
it's good to see. And it's good to see that he was, like, the award, if you want to call it, I don't know what you would call it, was presented by people that definitely knew him well enough to be able to present it truthfully and like with honor, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because it was Ryan, Michael B. Jordan, and Letitia. Right?
Yeah.
It's great to see him get that. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot more we can talk on it, other than just we could probably sit here for a whole episode and talk about how great he was. But no, to move on to something else, is the Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping trailer has released a year in advance. I would personally say it's one of the best edited trailers I've ever seen.
I would agree with that. I like the countdown thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the editing of the trailer. Maybe I'm the wrong person to understand if I'm sold by the trailer, if that makes sense. I know that if you're like a BookTok girly, it's your fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, people love it. And like even people at my work talk about it all the time, like really into the book. So to see the trailer come so soon and with so long to go, it's interesting. I think it will do well. If it does better than Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, then I'm into it. Because
Did you enjoy that film?
50-50, I think. I think it had some really strong moments, but then some really like weaker points or questions that were left to the audience to understand. And although sometimes that's really fun in a film, I just didn't need it in that. I think we can all agree that obviously the best part of the Hunger Games is the games.
Yeah.
And the problem with Songbirds and Snakes is the games were like half an hour. And I appreciate there's a lot to build up to it, but it's just not all there. I don't know how much of this story, because I haven't read the book, how much is based in the games compared to outside.
Did you so obviously I think the games happens during the second act, right?
Yes,
so
yeah.
How did you feel about I'm assuming you didn't really like the third act. How did you feel about the first act?
I didn't mind it. Because I felt like you needed that introduction to understand where you are and like who you are. I just feel like it was quite a build-up for something that happened so quickly.
Okay.
I don't think what we got of the games was poor. I just think it was short.
Okay. Because I loved the first act, just like the build-up,
it was
and
good.
then the second act. The third act I like, but on rewatch, it is the weakest act. But I still really like the film. I was quite surprised at how much I enjoyed Ballads.
Yeah, same.
The ending, I think, just confused me slightly. I think it's because, like, and maybe you'll be even able to answer it right now, but like right at the end of the film, they're running away together and they're in that like little cabin shed thing, and they talk about how many people he's killed, and it's the wrong amount to what she remembers or knows, and then she kind of just has a bit of a panic and just runs away. I don't still fully understand what that's meant to be, or like I thought that they'd been through so much that they kind of entrust themselves with anything, and
I think it's more so that she realizes that he's a liar and there's so much more to him that she doesn't know, and I think she just panics and runs because she realizes you are not who I think you are. And then obviously he realizes that she realized, and then obviously he kind of crashes out.
because obviously, like the whole film was meant to be like President Snow's, like to show him becoming evil, and like for a very large portion of that film, he's like your favorite character. Do you know? Like it's
sure, yeah.
You really struggle to see the evil until like little bits.
But I think that's where, like, the film, unfortunately, books are just going to be more detailed because then you get his inner thoughts in a book, but then in the film you can't really do that. So I think, in the books he's definitely more villain-like.
Yeah,
and you can see the manipulation in the books.
See, maybe that's where I'm out of touch here, which is what maybe put that film lower for me in like a ranking, because like as that observer, as just a generic like cinema watcher, you're right, I can't see that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what.
Preferred Ballads more than I liked it more than the two Mockingjay movies.
I would agree with that.
Yes,
definitely agree with that.
Also, this film crazy cast.
Yeah, it's got a great cast.
Ray Fiennes, Jesse Plemons. Who else we got in there?
Jesse Plemons is great because of who he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like-
in
Also-
Kieran Culkin as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Elle
Yeah,
Fanning.
McKenna Grace.
I can't, for the life of me, remember the guy that's playing Haymitch's name.
Yeah.
So was that
know.
Woody
No.
Harrelson's voice at the end of the trailer, or was that him impersonating Woody Harrelson?
Oh, I don't know.
It sounded too much like him.
Well, he's going to be in it, right? There's going to be something. He has to be, like...
I don't think so.
You think? You don't think he's in it at all?
No,
I
I really
wonder
don't
if
think
it
so.
either starts or ends with him, and it's like a
I
flashback.
would think the same, yeah. Or maybe he's like a narrator for the whole thing. Talking about, like, a memory.
Ooh. No, I don't think they're going to do narration.
They're gonna Glinda it, where it starts with like our paths
Yeah.
did cross. and then
Maybe
it
we'll
flies
get
over.
Woody Harrelson at the very end. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
He's still alive and kicking. Like, you know, like, he's still
Yeah.
there. I wouldn't be
That's like
surprised.
saying they should have got Clancy Brown in the last one.
I'm excited, though. I feel like this is one of them really weird franchises. It's actually huge, but you forget.
Yeah. And it's also really impressive just how much they've been able to revive the franchise from the first 4 movies, and then putting out 2 books and then 2 films. It's pretty impressive because those don't always come out successful.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think.
This year.
Say again?
Did the book only come out this year?
Suzanne Cole? No, she wrote that. I think it released last year.
Last year.
That's still crazy, though.
I know it's fairly recent. Yeah. No, but if a book's got that good of a story to turn into a movie, they're just going to do it.
Do you think we'll get another trailer if it's got a whole year left?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. We'll get one in like summer when all the blockbusters are coming out,
Definitely.
and it'll be attached to all of them.
So
It's
it
a
can
November
play in
release
cinemas
again,
as
isn't it?
well. Yeah.
They work good at that time of year. But let's jump into our first game.
Okay,
Very
I'm
simple
interested.
first one. This one's actually going to be like quick fire, 2 minutes. Simple, wicked, this or that.
Okay.
First
All right.
one, Glinda, Elphaba. Which one?
Elphaba.
It has to be Elphaba, yeah.
I'd go the same. Bok or Fierro?
I love Fierro, but him as the Tin Man was sick.
Literally, I was about to say that. Yeah. Even
We'll say
Slater,
Fierro
oh my
overall.
gosh. Yeah, I'm going to say Fierro.
Okay. The Wizard or Madame Morrible?
I hate both of them.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
going to
just gonna go
say
with Madame
the Wizard.
I'll
Oh.
go Madame Horrible. Sure.
Spice it up. I just can't get over her incredible line delivery.
Time for a change in the weather.
Yeah. That's about as much effort as she's put in as well.
Dr. Dillamond or Nessa Rose?
Oh,
Dr. Dillamond. Easy.
fuck Nessa Rose.
Yeah.
I hate her so much. Dr. Dillamond, my goat.
Yeah. literally.
And your final
100%.
one, Wicked or Wicked for Good?
Wicked.
Wicked.
Yeah, I think we were in
Hands
agreement on
down.
that one. Okay. Next game I've got is an interesting one, something we haven't done before on the podcast, and Ben is also completely unaware of this, so I'm just throwing this in, and we're going to see how this goes. It's less Wicked themed, it's more generalised, but the game is essentially called Pitch Meeting. So I have 3 sets of 4 actors. I'm going to tell you the 4 actors. You have to give me a director and a genre/synopsis of the kind of film you'd like to see those 4 work in.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So your first 4 actors are Jonathan Bailey, John Bernthal, Elizabeth Olsen, and Sadie Sink. So a director and then like a genre, or if you can get a synopsis or something together.
Damn, okay. So
I'm gonna go.
there's only one person here who's not been in a Marvel film,
Yes.
which is Jonathan Bailey. So they've all got superhero genes, but the first one I go to specifically is John Bernthal because of how he acts. He's not the same in everything, but close to it. So I feel like he's an important person to play here. I think Jonathan Bailey could do a bit more than what he's already shown us.
Mm-hmm.
Take away the smile and the charm, and he could just be like I'm not going to say a decent actor, but you hear what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't need to be a prince and everything. You could I feel like carrying on with a Marvel theme is boring because I'm just already giving. It's already happened. Maybe I'll spice it up. Should we go? What's John Bernthal done? He's worked with Christopher Nolan twice now, right? Is it more than twice?
Just twice.
Inception and The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's spice it up. Let's go like Denis Villeneuve. Just for something different. And what do I want them to do?
Rom-com.
I hate it. The ages are all wrong. They don't match at all. I hate that.
I was only joking.
I think I've got one.
Go.
Okay. So, what is that movie where it's like 500? I forgot the
500
movie. Okay,
Days of Summer.
yeah, I forgot the director, the name. But no, actually, let's go with Mark Webb. I'm gonna go with Mark Webb as the director, and then I'm gonna go with like a coming of age story centered around Sadie, Elizabeth Olsen and Elizabeth Olsen and then Jonathan Bailey are a couple, the parents, and then we have like John Burford as like the uncle, like the cool uncle, and then the movie centered around Sadie. That's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, and just her
Pretty good,
struggles.
to be fair.
Yeah, I was going for like the complete opposite. No, that does sound good.
Slap
Yeah.
A24 on that, and that's a banger.
Because Mark Webb did Gifted, and that was with McKenna Grace and Chris Evans, and that's kind of like a coming of age as well.
Yeah, that was a good film.
Like a family
Do you
drama.
see it like a family drama? Do you see like a bad boys dynamic? If that makes sense. Then like with like with his family, and then you've got like Will Smith being the annoying uncle that's a bit too involved but can't get rid of.
Yes, and then we start to fall in love with him. And then Sadie Six's character and John Burford, by the end of the film, they have like a really close bond.
Alright. Yeah, I'm sold.
Okay. Do you want to move on to your next four?
Yeah, okay.
This one's another interesting set. Harrison Ford, Ariana Grande, Paul Rudd, and Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, so instantly I think two of these go together with each other. I feel like Timothy Chalamet and Harrison Ford are more on like the serious side.
Yeah.
And the
Ariana's
other two are
throwing me
more
off.
bouncy.
Sorry, who was the third name?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, okay.
I feel like when you think of like Timothy Chalamet's most recent work with like Mighty Supreme and what was it called?
Bob Dylan.
Yes. They are films that are serious but have like an actor that you know playing a serious smaller role. So like imagine like a similar theme-ish type of film, but Edward Norton is Harrison Ford in this scenario. And even when you think about like Baz Luhrmann's like Romeo and Juliet, it's like a kind of like a serious film. Paul Rudd's in that film. He's a sideline character that's not that important, but can play that sort of thing. So I feel like you still could get like an A24 type serious kind of weird indie film with them all in. But you don't need to take the comedic aspect of Paul Rudd. It's Ariana Grande that throws me off.
Yeah, she's throwing me off. But then she can work, but then there's Harrison Ford. The age gap is just like, okay, what would the dynamic be? I don't know.
What if it was like a sports coach? She's like a tennis player.
Okay. And
maybe
Timothy Chalamet is like the love interest, or
the ball boy. I don't know. Yeah, it could be Paul Rudd's maybe like the coach.
This could be your Wizard of Oz remake. You have Harrison Ford as the lion. Paul Rudd is the Scarecrow, and Timothy Chalamet is the Tin Man.
Or if Harrison Ford's like the horrible judge that's like out of touch and is like, I don't know, she's trying to get into the professional tennis playing and he's like strict on her training method or something. She didn't come from like a posh background. Paul Rudd's the trainer that won't have it and she's talented enough that you should be able to get into it, and then Timothy Chalamet's just there. I don't know, doing something. Playing ping pong in the other room. I don't know, he's over there.
So I'm not sure about the director, but I could see like a musical, but then where does Harrison Ford and Paul Rudd fit? I don't know. Maybe they just don't sing, but they're part of the movie.
They're gonna put him a show, yeah.
Or now that Timothy Chalamet has done Wonka and kind of showed up his comedic chops, it could be like a comedy action. Yeah, I feel like that would fit. Like a comedy action, I'm not sure. I can't think of like a.
They're just two, like Harrison Ford and Ariana Grande are two people that I can't see in the same room.
Yeah, same.
You do like an action comedy, and then like you have Ariana Grande as like the voice of like an AI, like Tony Stark style.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that.
So you got your final four. This is probably the weirdest bunch, I think. It's just like maybe not the weirdest bunch. It's probably like the four that you'll never see these four in a film. I don't think.
Okay.
Joseph Quinn, Ryan Joy Randolph,
okay,
Kerry Condon, and Margot Robbie.
Okay.
No, I can see that. Especially
Yeah.
the three girls. The three girls I can see, but then you throw in Joseph Quinn, that's where it kind of throws me off.
I'm imagining like a Babylon style film, like a kind of a weird,
Right.
not culty, but we're close to it.
Or just maybe like a female kind of I don't know, like a female crime group. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, like an Ocean's film.
Yeah. Like a crime ensemble.
And Joseph Quinn is the, I don't know, the detective trying to solve it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. That one fits. Yeah.
He's the driver. The driver doesn't talk. He's got like leather gloves on and a suit and a small hat and drives them to their bank heist.
Or he's like, I don't know. Maybe the guy they're trying to steal from.
Oh, you could be like the rich son.
Yeah.
The rich son that owns a casino
That's
or
perfect.
something.
Yeah, that's perfect. The rich son. That fits him a lot.
Yeah, the Johnny Storm like attitude, but like
Yeah.
posh preppy. He's slipped up, and now they're all
A bit
gonna
more
rob it
arrogant.
because of his mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. A bit more arrogant as well. Less
And you
likable.
said this one was going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spitballed on this one. Throwing out tons of ideas. I feel like I need to come back with tricky ones next time. No. Give me all 12 of them and a Knives Out, though.
Yeah, fair. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them do appear. Or are they all too big?
That's probably the one place I could see Harrison Ford and Ariana Grande together.
Harrison Ford, yeah, that for sure, definitely. Yeah. Knives Out.
That's like the one franchise where I think anyone could end up with anyone.
Definitely.
Yeah, true.
It's kind of meant to be a bit mixy, matchy, and kind of fun.
Yeah.
You got Dave
100%.
Bautista and Madeline Klein. Like,
Edward Norton and Madeline Klein. That's even more crazy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, that is all for my games. So we are now jumping into what is the main topic of the episode, which is, of course, Wicked for Good. Do you feel changed for good or just kind of meh?
Yeah, meh, unfortunately.
So we've all seen it. What we tend to do is give a rating out of 10. I'll go first, then we'll go Grace, and then Ben, and you can go last. Out of 10, rating on Wicked for Good. For me, I'll go 6 out of 10. Grace?
I'll go 5 out of 10.
Wow, okay. I'll go 6.5.
Okay, as we tend to do, Ben, you are the highest. You can kick us off.
It wasn't for me, is the first thing I'm going to say, but I think the only reason I've given it maybe slightly higher is because if it was a standalone film, it would be a low score, but you're still riding on part one, if that makes sense. So it's got a slightly higher score because it comes from something that I at least did kind of enjoy. I think my review of this isn't the most positive thing in the world, but it comes from recognizing the difference between the theatre production and what they've translated into film. And I think if you've ever seen the theatre production, Wicked Part 2, after the interval, is always known as the secondary, weaker half. The songs are weaker, and they have to tie up quite a lot of story for you to catch up to where the Wizard of Oz kicks in, if that makes sense. So to see that, they've taken what is a short second part and turned it into a nearly 3-hour film, I was quite surprised to see how you even done that. And now I understand how they haven't. I think, I don't know, they managed to touch on every single part, and they managed to bring some of the book into it too, which is very cool. But I feel that the way, as soon as you get into this film, every single part of this film felt like it was the end, like it was wrapping up in the next 5, and it just didn't. It just kept going. I think there were some key parts of it that people were looking forward to, is a crazy way of me saying it. People were waiting to see. And then obviously you had the 2 new songs being brought into it. I don't know why they chose to do that. Maybe it's because they needed to drag it out a bit. But I feel when you've already got a second half that's already quite weak, the 2 songs were meant to bring it up, make it a bit more something. And I felt that they just blended in with the other songs. I truly think if you didn't know that before going in, you wouldn't have even clocked. I think they're very similar. Nothing really happens. I think we'll get into it, I guess, in a little bit, but when it gets into the spoilery bits of what happens near the end, I think it was very hit and miss with what they did. Some of it was really cool, some of it was a bit of a letdown, but I think coming out of it, it didn't hit the same as Wicked Part 1 at all.
Would you
which
give
is
Part
sad.
1 out of curiosity?
What would I give Part 1? Maybe like a 7. Like, it's not much higher, but there is a noticeable difference. There were scenes I laughed at in Wicked Part 2 that I definitely wasn't meant to laugh at, and that's not a good sign.
Do you want to quote
Wicked
your
Part 2?
favourite one right now?
Yeah, sure. For anyone that hasn't watched it, tough luck. Fiyero and Elphaba are canoodling. Let's use that term. They've given in. They've fallen in love. We're going to say it. They go back to her little treehouse, and she slips into her little lingerie set that came out of absolutely nowhere, and puts on her little cardigan made by the local wildlife. And they sleep together, which is very much implied. They lay next to each other in bed. They touch foreheads. It's a really emotional moment. And she lays there and she says, "For the first time, I'm feeling wicked." And at that point, I laughed, I cringed, and I turned around and everyone's crying like it's the most emotional thing in the world. And I absolutely hated it. I imagined it with like the little purple devil horn emoji, and I fucking hate that. It made me cringe. So,
like, people were genuinely like, peak cinema.
Yeah, I hated it. I understand it had to happen, but that's not how you do it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if we needed a Wicked, name drop. It's not.
Well, the line is in the theatre production. That line happens.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh,
but,
God.
I don't know. It just, you didn't have to use it.
Yeah, you definitely didn't.
I didn't like it at all.
I think, for me, I pretty much echo everything that you said. It doesn't touch the highs of the first.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because these were filmed back to back, they lack the ability where a sequel can sometimes, not a lot of times, but can sometimes dull down the lows of the first. But this kind of just doubles down on the lows of the first because they were shot back to back. There was no time to really go in and change anything. It was shot and done, and they had to move on. So any complaints that were made after one, they kind of just had to accept and put this movie out. Not to say that it's full of lows, and not to say that it's a bad film. I think people's expectations were so high for good that obviously most people have left. I don't want to say disappointed, but I think frustrated. They didn't reach the highs of part one. I think, as you've already mentioned, it's the weaker half, but the songs are really underplayed in this half. I said this yesterday to someone, but the equivalent of an action set piece in a musical is like a musical set piece. And in the first one, you have all the choreography of dancing through life and what is this feeling. And this one, you just have Elphaba and Glinda singing in a castle, and you've just got them two, as you said, singing in a treehouse. Glinda singing in a corridor. It's where's all the
That's
magic?
true, but maybe that's the point, though, right? The first is meant to be all happy, and this is the second sad part. But that doesn't mean you need to be alone all the time.
It just felt like a bit of the I don't know.
The magic's gone.
What was missing from this part was obviously it was all the breaker part, but the togetherness and the unity was gone, and it was a much more internal, personal, character-driven side of the story. A lot more fragmented and a lot more struggle-based, whereas obviously it's a very different film and tackling very different problems. I think they handled it all brilliantly. And to mention some good, poor use of words there, the set design, makeup, costumes in both films is some of the best I've seen, and I'm not going to be mad if this wins the Oscars again in those categories because I think they're deserving.
I think
there's a few other films this year that I think will compete them.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
I think Frankenstein and Sinners are probably in those conversations as well. Sinners not so much for makeup, but
I recognise that this film was weaker than the first one straight away. When you think of the opening of Wicked Part 1, which is the end, if that makes sense, it's going through a dark room, the witch's hat's on the floor, and you hear they're all calling that she's dead. That was a dark opening, and it went straight into it. The opening to this one was the equivalent of a weird train heist. It was very weird as an opener that I wasn't expecting at all, and that set the tone for the whole film. The way you felt in that first 5 minutes is the way you felt for the whole film, and that's
did you
why
see
I feel
that? he wanted to open. He wanted the second film to start with Defying Gravity again.
I heard this. The only way I can see that working is maybe like the end scene of part 1 is her flying away, and maybe the opening would be like maybe she's flying over that payload of people down below, and you could maybe get like the tune playing like in the wind behind it, and it flows in if you watched it as a double bill. But you don't need to do the whole song again.
Yeah.
No. Also, like, completely lost my train of thought. That opening scene, it like the whole landscape around it felt empty. I know the focus was like the yellow brick road, but it was just like some muddy fields.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like, I get it was again trying to put the depression in, but yeah.
I really hate the first act of Wicked for Good. The first act is really bad. It's really bad. But yeah.
Yeah, it's tedious.
Give us your full breakdown, Grace.
Yeah, I think honestly, to put it simply, I was just bored for most of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna echo what you guys said. I think most of what you guys said is absolutely correct. Yeah, I just wasn't really feeling the chemistry and just the dynamic between the characters, which obviously does make sense because the first one is kind of happy-go-lucky, but then the second one is very much you're meant to feel the isolation that not just Elphaba felt, but also Glinda. So in that sense, I understand, but when this movie is so character-driven, for example, with Fiero and Cynthia, I just didn't feel the chemistry. I didn't feel the chemistry between Jonathan Bailey and Cynthia Erivo. I'm sorry, I just didn't. And so much of the driving force of this story is Fiero's love for Elphaba and him fighting for her. And because the chemistry just isn't there, I feel like I just don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of our love for Fiero is that Jonathan Bailey is very charming and that people just are very charmed by him. And he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that relationship, in that connection. But just them two solely, chemistry-wise, is really not there. And when so much of the film is built off of them, it's a huge miss. I also really didn't like Elphaba and Glinda's dynamic in this film. I really enjoyed them in the first film, and then in the second film, I'm just like, I'm not really feeling that connection anymore. I thought Glinda's character was noticeably worse in this movie as well. So yeah, because this movie is so much more character driven, unfortunately, the characters I didn't actually enjoy, and that makes it hard for me to enjoy the film. But if you do want me to get into some positives, I thought Ethan Slater is flawless as Tin Man.
He is
so good.
He gained a whole half-star on Letterboxd.
Yeah, his whole speech, his monologue, insane. Like, I actually got chills at that part. Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree.
And also another positive, actually, Cynthia Erivo's No Good Deed, incredible. I thought she was flawless. Really, really good.
That for me was when I thought the film was going to like massively pick up, and then the scene after that, I was like, "Oh, we're back."
Yeah. And are we talking spoilers?
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah. Okay, there's also a sequence with shadows and a door. If you've watched the film, you understand. I thought that was also shot really, really well. And Ariana's so good in that scene. I know for a fact John M. Chu definitely watched that back and thought, yeah, I did a good job with that because that scene is really, really good. Yeah.
Did you read the door scene was improvised by them? It wasn't in the script.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I had no idea.
I like that.
They just left the camera running and they did that, and then they put it in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that door scene is so good. So good.
Yeah,
I think that is probably the strongest.
Yeah, no, but is that a nostalgia bait thing, though? Yes, it was cool shot, but it's also what you've been waiting for the last two films.
Also, though, never mind, it does include that CGI face of Jeff Goldblum, which is going to horrify.
That was awful. Did you see the the photos going viral of the guy that played the young version of him? And there's not much CGI. He just looks like that. Yeah. All the comments are like, oh. Yeah, no, the guy he's similar. Like, he looks like he's AI generated as a human being. Very strange. But no, I think I shadow you in terms of like my strongest. It gave me a whole 0.5 extra on Letterboxd was Ethan Slater. That scene, which I've watched a few times now because of my work. But the Elphaba's come down. She's talking to Nessa. She makes her like fly, and it's the exact moment that he comes in and he says, I'm done. Like, you've ruined Munchkin Land. You've stopped us, all of this, whatever. And then he sees that Elphaba's trying to help Nessa. At the time, doesn't understand that she's doing it because of their relationship. He thinks she truly is wicked and evil. And then Nessa, which clearly is slightly magic here, I will bring it up. She's clearly got something in her to start being able to read that book, even if it was wrong. But the scene, like, very The Shining. Like, he's carrying silverware and Elphaba has to, like, lock it round him to stop his heart going. And then the axe through the door, awesome. And then him coming out, and then it goes straight into, like, the Cowardly Lion and him at, like a pitchfork rally. That was so unexpected. It was that I loved that. That was my
the
favorite
shot of
bit
him
of the whole
looking
film.
up.
That's
the shot of him looking up. Oh my gosh, his face. Yeah,
I love that scene opens with the Cowardly Lion. It's like the panned lower, so it's like the Tin Man's bottom half of his legs and the Cowardly Lion, and he's like hiding round his legs because of all the fire and the shouting. And I was like, okay, I like that. I find it very funny how, and I didn't know if you know this, there's quite a lot of this film that they didn't have the rights to use, so they've had to change things. Warner Bros. Owns the Wizard of Oz, but Universal did Wicked. So that's the reason why Dorothy's shoes aren't red, because they own the rights to the red shoes. So they glow in the scene where Nessa floats, but that's what they can get away with, and then they're silver for the rest of the film. Another one is Toto isn't called Toto. His name is Dodo, which Ariana says, and you could almost get away like she's like blonde and she's not saying it correctly, but it's because they couldn't use it. And there's one of the Cowardly Lion is called the Very Nervous Lion, because they can't have it, which is really interesting.
I find it interesting with like movies and studios having rights to this and that. Usually I'm more up to know with that when it comes to like Marvel and what each character, the rights of each characters. So it's definitely cool to hear about it in terms of other movies.
It's interesting as well because like working in a scene where I can see what the natural customer goes towards. Do they prefer Glinda? Do they prefer Elphaba? The whole plot of Wicked is that you're meant to come out and actually realise that Elphaba's the good one, right? Like, that's the point. Like, she's the good guy. And it's so interesting to see people watch the film and Glinda still does better. And it's almost like the irony of the propaganda still exists, that, like, people still want the pink princess, even though you know that she's not right. It's really interesting that they still gravitate towards that.
I think that could just be the natural fan base of Ariana being a bit more mainstream.
Potentially, but it's also like, you got to remember how old The Wizard of Oz is, and it actually shaped a lot of what we know is like normal now. Like, a witch's hat and a green witch with a pointy nose and a broomstick came from The Wizard of Oz. Like, there was nothing before that. Like, you'd look at any Halloween merch now and there's a wicked witch on a broom. That's from The Wizard of Oz. That shaped a whole dynamic that we just incorporate into our lives now.
Very influential.
Yeah, exactly that. And like, that's why I think a lot of them are locked to studios, because, like, no matter what film or where, if I tapped my red shoes together, that would be a very obvious nod to The Wizard of Oz that would be known through anything. So they clearly hold the rights to that. I'm curious if there was a budget of actually how much they'd have had to pay to have it. I don't know, but a lot of it goes with family lines.
That would have been a lot.
Yeah,
that's like the big iconic moment of Wizard of Oz.
That's what I mean. But I've not really seen many people like we talk about it because we know films quite a lot, but to the generic audience members, they're not going to have a clue what I just said. But I've not seen many people talking about where's the red slippers, like, at all, because that is The Wizard of Oz, and no one's really said.
It confused me a little bit. I wouldn't say it was like a big thought on my mind, but no, it's cool that you've shared
in
that.
terms of like the movie in general, I think Theatre Kids, and then Ariana Grande's fan base, and then Cynthia Erivo's fan base, which is also which has an overlap with Theatre Kids in general. I think they love the film. I'm definitely seeing a consensus that, like, they love the film, and to be honest, it is made for them. theatre kids in specific. So yeah, as long as they like the film, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's completely fair.
Do you think it will shape further musicals?
Yes.
Because
yeah, I
unless,
think
depending on the type of musical, this is very like CGI based, if that makes sense. Like a lot of like In the Heights and Grease and things like that are all very like just practical effects shot where you are. But this adds like a cinema blockbuster scale to it. So if you were to remake any more, would you think it would actually take that effect? Like I recently watched Hercules in theatre. Like imagine if they did that. That would have to be a CGI.
Yeah. I mean, if you take away the Jeff Goldblum, the CGI of both Wicked movies is actually some of the strongest we've had in recent years. I don't think there's much bad CGI.
I don't think it's
film.
entirely strong. I think it's expected. Nothing in it made me go, wow.
It should be the standard.
There was no Optimus Prime in it. Like, do you know what I mean? There was no like.
Yeah.
Megatron didn't rip Jazz in half in it. Like there was none of that I went, this is sick. There was none of that. It was just a flying monkey should look like a flying monkey. Like I shouldn't look at it and go, eesh.
I think in terms of visuals, like I think it could have been better. Yeah.
Yeah, I
remember the color grading being a big issue.
Yeah.
With both films.
Yeah.
It's not very vibrant considering the character posters they put out for both films, which are like insanely oversaturated in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And like referring back to a movie we just spoke about, in the trailer for the Hunger Games, the new Hunger Games, you can really see the color, and it's just a bit disappointing because Wicked, you kind of had no excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do wonder if that's the point. I think when you put side by side the films, the first one is meant to be happy because it is happy, and the second one is sad, so it looks sad.
I think you're giving them too much credit.
I'm waiting. Yeah. That's how I think they would defend themselves.
Fair.
I think that's what they would say.
Yeah.
Probably.
But it's very interesting to see that when we watched it at the multimedia screening, it was a 4.3 on Letterboxd, and I've been watching it daily, and it's dropping by the day. I think it's at like 3.7 right now. And it's interesting to see the reviews are starting to come in line with my own, because I thought I was the bad guy. I thought I was feeling truly wicked in that moment. But I'm glad to see that other people recognised from a general audience that it's not all that.
But you have to think about it. The people who got to see the movie first, a lot of them are musical lovers. A lot of them love Ariana. A lot of them love Cynthia. A lot of them love the Wicked franchise. And
I believe you should be able to recognise a good film and a bad film.
But see, sometimes, like I said, theatre kids love this film. And then when you're now putting out the movie for a general audience, that's when the real opinions are going to come out.
It gets judged as a film at that point rather than an experience.
But I think as well, if you love something so much, you're quite easily disregard.
Yeah, that's true. We all
like
have that.
I know for me, like myself, the Cobra Kai show on Netflix is the cheesiest, cringiest thing that you'll ever see. I will hype that thing up to my last breath. I
100%.
find that show so fun. 100%. But I know deep down it's an awful show with the most cringe you'll ever see.
Not awful, but yeah.
It's got its good moments, but it's certainly got its some bad moments. Yeah. But I think where theatre kids don't watch as many films as us, they're watching an adaptation of it. They're just seeing like, wow, this is amazing. It's basically the theatre on steroids, essentially, because there's no edge to the stage. The whole thing is the stage. The whole thing's the picture.
Yeah.
Landscapes can have depth. The characters can have more movement, especially like the animals. So I guess it's just they're watching a beloved story of theirs come to life on a bigger scale.
Do you think there's judgment in the difference between a theatre actor and an actor in this film? Because in this film, these are actual actors performing a role that is beloved in a normal movie theme. Whereas if you went and watched it on theatre or on Broadway, everything's a bit more extravagant and a bit more arms wailing, and talking is a lot more hyped in lows in different parts. And if you're a theatre kid that's loved it for 20 years, that's how you would know it. So do you think there is judgment in that of seeing certain scenes that you've seen in a very specific way because it's performed by theatre actors that doesn't hit the same or is acted wrong because it's now performed by actors.
Are you talking purely for good or both?
Both, really.
I would argue that they're exactly the same, especially because of Popular. The bit at the end where Ariana's on
Or
her
are you
own,
referring to specifically only songs?
not just song,
songs,
everything.
yeah, they can't skip that. That's the main thing. You can't get rid of the dance and the cringe and the over eye rolls and everything exaggerated. But as just the acting scenes, do you think they're very like there's judgment in the fields that they are different? Because I use Fierro as an example. If you've ever watched like Wicked in theatre, he's like Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. He's got like he overly talks, he overly almost sings with every word that he says, but there's no song there. He's just talking, and that's just how he is. But in this, he's just a bloke. Like, yeah, he's got charm to him, but he's just a guy. Now, I don't think anyone's actually ever described Jonathan Bailey as just a bloke, but like I have.
Yeah.
He won GQ's Bloke of the Year. That's what he won.
I think because they're two different mediums.
Geezer of the Year.
They're always going to be performed differently. So, yeah. It's just two different mediums, so they're going to be performed differently.
I would completely agree with that. I've got nothing else to add to that.
Yeah, so it might be some things that work on stage, but then it doesn't work on film. There'll be things that work on film where you're like, oh, we could do a bit more. We could be a bit more extravagant on stage because on stage it's just a bit more extra, for lack of better words. Yeah.
I wonder if it's also to bring up Charlie's point. On theatre, you've still got four walls, and being able to elaborate out makes the imagination go wild and immerses yourself. If you already have that CGI'd in the background, I don't need that extravagant to understand how colourful and magic this world is. I can already see it without them having to overdo it.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
One other thing I want to talk about in this second part. Obviously, you can tell that time has passed between the first and the second.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I found out afterwards it's supposed to be like 5 years. And it doesn't feel like that.
I was thinking about this in my own time, and I was trying to figure out, without Googling it, how long had passed. And I did a great job, because I was thinking, what in this film can you judge the time off? I'll let you think. What in this film can you look at and think, this has changed considerably between 1 and 2, that would be able to make you go, oh, that's probably around this period of time. I got it. I'm proud that I got it before I Googled it.
I'm not sure, but I noticed there was a big difference. A big time jump when I think Bok said something like back in school. So I kind of just assumed,
fair.
At least a couple of years, yeah.
Well, I was trying to think of anything that is considered in age, in anything that's changed. And what I ended up going to, and I was right, was the lion. Because the lion was a cub in part 1 and was an adult in part 2. And then I was like, well, how long do lions take to mature?
That's what I was gonna ask.
And that's what it was. And I Googled it, and it was, there's that, and there's one other thing as well. I can't remember what the other thing was. I think it is very similar to it's how much influence has happened on the world between it, because at the end it's the Wicked Witch is evil, and then by part 2 they already know she's evil, and it's almost like a bank holiday, like they know it, like it's a thing. And you've got to imagine how much influence Glinda's had in this time, that they now see her as like a national icon. She's not just the hero in the moment, she's seen as to go to for help now. It's been long enough that they trust her. But it also proves that between them two, Elphaba's been on the run for years and has been saving people for years.
What are the citizens of Oz called?
Ozians, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Right, so I'm not gonna lie, I just think the Ozians are very easily swayed.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so it didn't really raise an eyebrow to the way they were secure, oh, okay, the witch is evil.
It'd be maybe a bit more obvious if I don't know, something simple like someone had obviously aged, or maybe there was more buildings than last time. Do you know what I mean? Or something's happened that
they should have just stated it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently it is
5 years later.
Yeah, sure. But apparently, it is the lion that's the main thing to notice the time difference.
Okay.
Because I just don't think, while there's a lot that has changed, I don't think it feels like it. Like it could have just been like she flew off the day before singing Defying Gravity, and then the next day this happened.
But then I think that, although I completely agree with you, it when you want to understand the lore of the Wizard of Oz and stuff, like if she was a bad guy yesterday and then she's a good guy today, although the citizens of Oz wouldn't clock that, it isn't really that important to them. It was only 24 hours long. But if years of them being drip fed that she's evil and Glinda's a good person, it proves that even when they're wrong, they'll still go to Glinda because they've trusted her for years. Why would she ever be wrong?
Okay.
So I guess it's the relationship they've developed over the time for them to feel that way. Because if it was just a bad thing happened yesterday, they would have got over it easier.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is why it kind of relates back to the point of the wizard saying, when she was like, I want you to tell exactly that you don't have any power, she was like, I don't think they would care. I don't think they would care at all. And he says that. He's like, I can go and tell them, but they put so much trust in me over the years that they would be like, oh, okay, well, we trust you. Oh, you know what? It'd be very similar to, I know this is bad, but very similar to like how the US is defending itself right now. I feel like you could come out and say something and a lot of people, specific type of people, be like, yeah, and look what he did. And they're seeing it from the wrong angle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the wizard. I've said it.
Okay, I think on that note,
he has no real power.
Wait, I have one more question, but I don't know if you guys do this on here, like awards odds.
Go for it.
Do you guys do it?
What's that?
Okay, awards odds.
Not really.
Like,
no.
How do you think? Okay, no worries then. Yeah.
Well, we're always willing to.
We can do something different.
Yeah, because for example, I think they're willing. I think they're going to campaign Ariana for supporting. But how do you guys feel about that? I feel like she's the lead of the movie. I feel like this is her movie.
So.
What?
But supporting would be easier for her to campaign.
Supporting would be easier this year, but I feel like she's the lead of the movie.
I think she's lead, and it's serious category fault if they actually nominate her for supporting.
Interesting. So, based off that logic, are they saying that Elphaba is lead in both?
Yeah. I think Wicked Part 1 is Elphaba's movie. Wicked Part 2 is Glinda's movie, in my opinion. That's how I see it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, one starts with Elphaba's childhood, and 2 starts with a look into Glinda's childhood.
Yeah.
She has the better arc in 2, and Elphaba has the better arc in 1.
But I don't think their odds in general are looking that great anymore, because I feel like they were shoehorned in for a lot of like nominations, and a lot of wins as well. But I don't see it anymore, especially with the reception of this movie.
Also, as well, with how incredible last year was.
Yeah.
Overall, there wasn't as much on offer as there has been this year.
Yeah.
And I think, especially the categories that they dominated last year, there's a lot more contenders for those categories this year. Like, if they'd have released the original songs last year, probably would have won quite easily. This year, you got to compete with Sinners and other films like that. Yeah.
K-pop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those two,
Yeah, true.
And then you've got like costume, as we mentioned earlier. You've got Sinners, you've got Frankenstein, makeup. You've got Frankenstein.
Is going to be a big one.
I think Frankenstein will wipe the floor with makeup. Costume, I think they still have a chance because last year it was just your Elphabas and your Glindas that was getting the costumes. This year's we've now got like Tin Man and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Does that count as costume or makeup?
I think both. Same as like Scarecrow, that's still costume because like the full outfit.
Big up Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone thought that. Everyone was definitely thinking.
I do want it to win.
I thought it was full
like
CGI.
production.
I thought it was like motion captured on his face, and then like there have been photos now of him like wearing it, and I was like,
yeah,
it's definitely been like CGI.
I was gonna say that
because the mask really like fits around his eyes, so they've obviously squished it into his face.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
And the rest of it.
But I thought it was fully motion capture for sure.
Yeah, I hated it, but I understand why they did it. I think when you think of like how the Scarecrow is meant to look, I was really excited to see how they were going to do it, and I was let down by seeing what they did. But then when you obviously look back at the original Wizard of Oz one, you go, "Oh, fine, like I get it. Like that's why you did it."
A Scarecrow man, you can never really make him look good. So, yeah, I wasn't too fussed.
Yeah. I can't be that upset by it. Like, that's not me being like, this film's awful because of that. It was just,
Yeah.
How did you feel about them walking off into Arrakis at the end of it? I mean, the land outside of Oz.
I don't. Where are they going?
I love that shot. I'm sorry, I did. I did love that shot. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you hate as much as I did that they just showed the shot 20 minutes into the film?
They did do that, yeah. I thought it was like a dream though.
When they're going into the tunnel, it goes and it just blinks to the final shot and cuts away again, and it's literally the exact shot at the end.
Right. Well, I can't really have an opinion. I didn't really notice it, so
maybe that is this third Wicked film they're talking about. Where do they end up? Where does that go?
They have a kid in the third
riding
book.
Off into the distance, so
that you could explore their family life.
Green Scarecrow man, baby.
Yeah, well, this is what I was thinking. Based off that logic, is the kid not a scarecrow because they slept together before he was a scarecrow?
Oh, that's
wait,
true.
no. There's a time jump.
The kid. This is going to be really hard to say. The kid is just a white human child, which is one of like the confusing parts of the film.
That would slightly make sense, but if Jonathan Bailey was still white, he's now a scarecrow. So obviously, in the book, they're actually meant to have a kid by this point, and they've not done that. So if they were to go on with a third Wicked film, and they have a kid, have they already slept together, or are they about to sleep together in this new film? Because then it's going to be a green scarecrow.
Then the wizard comes back, apologizes, and becomes the granddad.
Yeah. Then Doctor Doom at some point, I'm pretty sure. And
it'll be Bok in a green cape.
I love that, yeah. The Munchkin Man is what he'll be called. He's going to be like Megamind. Yeah. I'm sold. This is, earlier when you played that game of like random things and what film.
That now has courage.
Oh, he rides him into battle like the Golden Compass. Yeah, I'm sold.
There we go, Universal. We've written you a movie there.
Yeah.
Into the Wickedverse. I think on that note, before we start to lose our minds, we've got Scarecrow babies and Tin Men on lions. I think we wrap it up there. But a big thank you to Grace.
Clash of Clans lobby. That's what it would look like.
You gotta stop. No, thank you, Grace, for coming on. It's great to speak to you. I'm sure we'll try and get you back on for Stranger Things, because I don't think there's anyone
that's a good shout.
We know that's more hyped for Stranger Things than you are. So definitely have you on for that. But thank you all for listening, and we will see you all next week. Goodbye.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Bye.